Hi everyone, in this recording we'll discuss topic modeling. Topic modeling is a kind of dimensionality reduction that's very suited for working with text data. So, from a very high level, you can think of topic modeling as being an intermediate between clustering and principal components analysis. In clustering, you think every sample belongs to one relatively clearly defined cluster. In PCA, there's no notion of clusters. PCA, everything varies continuously along some sort of gradient. Topic models provide something like a compromise. It allows a document to be a mixture, so they're gradients when you have mixtures, but then they're mixtures of these underlying prototypes. So the prototypes are kind of like clusters. So just a high-level idea of how this works. We're not going to go over the technical implementation, but just to understand. So imagine you have a collection of news articles. The news articles can be from a whole bunch of different topics, right? So you might have a collection of sports articles, you might have a collection of business articles, right? Now think about how do you characterize a collection of sports articles? One thing you can think of is you can think of the distribution of words within that set of articles, right? So if you imagine topic one being like sports articles, then the words with high probability, these could be things like baseball or plays or wins, right? And then there are going to be other words that just have very low probability. They might occur elsewhere in the corpus, so they might be other common words in news in general, but they might not be common among sports articles. Right? And then kind of another topic could be like business topic, right? So maybe things like a merger or prices. These are going to be words which have high probability in the business topic, but they'll put low probability on the words that have been common in sports. So at this point, you're thinking of topics as like a mixture of words, a distribution over words. You could imagine this being something like clustering, right? Whenever you have a cluster, the cluster defines kind of a prototypical example for a member of that cluster. What makes this different from clustering is that instead of forcing every article to belong to one of these different kind of topics, you're allowed to mix between them, right? So this picture is trying to represent the idea that this would be an article that's mostly business, maybe a little bit of mention of sports words. This would be one that's kind of 50-50. So maybe there's some business article about different sports teams, right? So it's going to be using a lot of words that are common in both of those topics, right? So this is allowing you to continuously mix between these otherwise pretty hard-coded prototypes. Once you define that, then you draw the words for that article by interpolating between these two topic distributions. Right? So if it's 50-50, then you interpolate these two. You get a probability that's midway through for each of the words, and then you kind of make sure it's a valid distribution, and you can sample. Okay, so that's one kind of picture that you can have in mind for topic modeling. Another picture that you can have in mind, think of this as a vocabulary with just 3 words. So if you were at one of the corners, then every time you sample a document, you just always draw that one word, every single word in that document. Right? If you're at the very middle of the triangle, that means you're an even mixture across all the words. Right? And then you can think, okay, what defines a topic? A topic is just a mixture of words, right? So the topics define just points on this simplex. And then what is a document? A document is a mixture of topics, right? Just like here, we had the business and the sports topic, and then each document was a mixture of those different topics. So they lie within the convex hull of those different topics. Okay, so this is kind of a theoretical underpinning. We're going to see these different pictures as parameters when we estimate topic models. These two kind of pictures are going to be called the beta matrix. This group here, these are going to be called the gamma matrix. So the dimensions are, this is an n samples by k topics matrix, and then this is going to be a k topics by v words matrix. Okay, so that's conceptual. Let's just apply topic models to a simple example. So the story in the reading is called The Great Library Heist. Imagine a thief has taken 4 books, so these 4 books, come in, and then they've taken the books, they've torn the books into many little shreds, and what you have left are all the shreds from pages across all the books. And your task is to just assign, did this shred of the book, did it come from which of the 4 books? Right? You don't need to reconstruct the entire book. You just need to figure out, classify each shred to one of the 4. And you imagine that should be possible just by looking at the types of words that are present in each book, right? 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is going to be using very different words than Great Expectations. Okay. So in this example, or this block, we're just downloading those 4 books. Here's a data set that contains all those books. So it's having each line, I think, is a different paragraph. Okay, so there's some kind of basic pre-processing that's going on here, right? We want to filter out chapters that are really short. This is mainly because there's some front matter and back matter to the text, which really aren't the story itself. So this is just going to filter out all those really short kind of pseudo chapters that aren't really important. Okay, so now the more interesting part. So what is this doing? We're actually getting different word counts, right? So we don't actually need the whole text. We don't need like the entire paragraph. We're not doing anything with the entire sequence of words. We're actually literally just counting chapter by chapter, how many times does each word appear. Right? It's a little bit basic. There are more sophisticated approaches that are able to embed the entire sequence, but topic models are still often a very useful baseline. So what is this doing here? It's kind of separating out those long strings of words into individual words, 1 per line. It's removing stop words. So these are really common, but really not that interesting words. So like and, of, but, things like those are going to be removed when we anti-join against stop words. And then this count is going for each of the kinds of books, each chapter, and then each word, we're getting a count. Right? So it's giving us this long matrix that's telling us the word counts associated with each of these chapters. Okay, we're almost ready to put it into a document term matrix, which is the format that we need it to be in order to run a topic model. But the issue is that the document term matrix it has to be format documents along rows, and then terms or words along columns. And so it needs to be in wide format, but right now we have it in long format. So there's a helper function called castDTM, which is going to exactly convert it from this long into a wide format. Okay, so this is going to be a document term matrix object. We're now ready to do LDA. Okay, so this is all it looks like. This is that document term object. We're saying fit it with 4 topics. In practice, you're going to usually want to fit with a range of topics, but I recommend against thinking about what the true number of topics is, right? It's kind of a user parameter. If you want really high resolution, work with many topics. If you just want a course quick overview, you can work with fewer topics. Here, 4 makes a lot of sense because we know at the beginning that there are 4 books. All right. And this is just extracting the relevant parameters. So the topics, this is that K by vocabulary size matrix, which is saying what is the probability of each word for each topic. And then memberships is saying for each document, does it belong to topic 1? Does it belong to topic 2, topic 4? It's just giving that mixture weight across the 4 topics for each document. Okay, so now we can just look at the results. So here, so for topic 1, you can see it put a lot of weight on Captain, put a lot of weight on Nautilus, on Sea. So we already get the sense that topic 1 is probably the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea topic. And then memberships, what it's giving us is for each chapter or each paragraph for this book, it's saying what is the probability, or what is the mixture weights, right? So it's saying this zeroth paragraph for grade expectations, it's mostly belonging to topic 2 and topic 4. It's mainly a mixture of those two. It has a little bit of weight on 1 and 3. Right? Then the next, or paragraph 100, we see it's almost entirely topic 3, and then almost nothing for the other topics. And you do this for every single paragraph, right? So it wasn't chapters that we were splitting by, we were actually splitting by paragraph when we were doing the unnesting and the casting. Okay, this is how to at least fit a topic model. It's really useful for converting raw text into more numerical summaries. Once we have it in the form of numerical summaries, we can start doing some richer visualization. That's what we'll be covering in the next recording.